Yo, what's good? What's good, people? What's popping? What's popping? Dave should be joining in just a second. Just a second. Dave will be up in here. And we're gonna talk about it. We gotta talk about some things. What's good, everybody? I see y'all coming through. Y'all coming through. Appreciate y'all coming through. I know it's a one-off. Wanted to come up here real quick and talk about the trade deadline fallout. Obviously, it was pretty uneventful. No moves were really made other than the fact that we signed the quarterback Josh Love to the practice squad. Of course, we're preparing to play week 9 without Sam Darnold. Not saying that's official, not official yet. Not official yet. But we're preparing for it. Obviously, PJ Walker is going to be a starter. But moving forward, we do have another quarterback just in case. So just in case, we did sign another quarterback. Now, yes, Ace, you are absolutely right. Ace is 100% correct. Nobody should be disappointed. Nobody should be disappointed in the fact that we didn't have any moves today. Come on, y'all being greedy. Don't be disappointed for the fact that we didn't have any moves. That's okay. 13 moves. Stephon Gilmore, C.J. Henderson. I'll take it. I'll take it. Now, all that aside, we got to talk about what the hell this means moving forward because it's important. On the surface, y'all looking at it like, yo, we didn't sign anybody, but or we didn't make any trades. But there's layers to this, right? There's layers, there's levels to this because that also means you got guys coming up on contract years. There's some guys that are coming up on contract years that we didn't move. A couple of names that I heard were available on the market today. If you were following Twitter, there was a couple names being floated out there that were in trade talks. Marquis Haynes was one of those guys. Marquis Haynes was one of those guys. So I anticipated him getting moved. He's on a contract year. Dante Jackson was also a name that's been rumored for a long time now. It's Dante Jackson was always going to be out there because he's on a contract year. Remember, going back to last season, I talked about this. I talked about this with Curtis Samuel. We talk about this with Curtis Samuel, right? Curtis Samuel, we let walk, and we didn't get anything in return, right? We didn't get anything in return for Curtis Samuel, and he ended up going to another squad for nothing. So the question is are those guys going to be a part of the long term plan, or are they going to let them walk? Because it doesn't make any sense if they're not a part of the long term plan. Then then it's pointless to keep them around, right? Case in point, look at what Denver did. Denver traded Von Miller, right? Von Miller is not a part of their long-term plans. Denver, in fact, traded one of their rookies. They had a cornerback that they drafted this year, and they traded him. They traded him to Philadelphia for a 6th-round pick, Kerry Vincent. Shout out to Kerry Vincent, the cornerback out of LSU. They traded him. And so they're getting rid of guys that are not a part of their long-term plan. And that makes sense. If the guy's not going to be part of the long-term plan, then you got to get some compensation for him. So I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to be disappointed, yes, if let's say Dante Jackson, for instance, ends up walking for nothing. Because I'm sure you had an offer on the table. It might not have been one that you liked, but at least you got something back in return. And that, yes, that does not account for comp picks. I'm fully aware of how comp picks work, and you could potentially get a comp pick, but that's all about potential. You could potentially get a comp pick. We're talking about what's in front of you, right? What's in front of you. And so it's cool. It's cool. And listen, yeah, I feel like okay, and I see y'all. I see y'all out here complaining about the offensive line. Yeah, but listen, it takes two to tango, right? Andre Dillard is a guy that I certainly liked. I'm the one that said we should go out there and get Andre Dillard. But the fact of the matter is, you got to have it takes two to tango. Maybe Philadelphia just didn't want to trade him. Maybe they wanted to keep because offensive linemen are hard to find. Maybe they wanted to keep him. So it takes two to tango, fam. So we can't be disappointed in the fact that we didn't get a trade because we may have tried. I'm sure we swung at a couple guys and they just didn't. It didn't work out. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Again, this team is still rebuilding. It's not perfect. And at the end of the day, I'm not mad at it. But we do need to take a look at the future because y'all know me. I'm a roster building guy. I'm a roster building guy. This is my thing. So as soon as the trade deadline ended, what did I do? I went and looked at the free agents because now we're locked in with these guys for the rest of the year. We're locked in with these guys, and I got a list. It's not a full list, but let me share my screen. Give me 1 second. Uh, Let me share my screen, and I'm gonna give y'all a quick list uh, of guys that are coming up on contract years. Right? These it's not the full list, but these are the most important guys. Right? These are the most important guys that are out there right now that are on contract years. They're on contract years. They're with the squad right now. And one could have said, "Oh, we could have traded one of these guys in order to get some compensation back." Um, but here we go. So, Hassan Reddick, number one, he's the number one guy. You got to get Hassan Reddick back, right? You got to bring him back. And I have asterisks by their names because they have voided years added to their contract. They have voided years to the so if you go and search them right now, they're not going to appear as if they're free agents, but they really are because they have voided years on their deals, right? So we're going to have to make a decision on whether to extend that deal or to walk away from the deal. If we walk away from their voided deals, then all of that money that's kicked in to their voided years of their contracts get accelerated up, and we have to take dead money on that. So we'll take a look at that in a second. I'll give you an example, but Hassan Reddick, Matt Paradis both have voided years on their contract. So we need to make a decision on them in particular because we're going to have some big dead cap money if we don't. Okay. So that's why though they have asterisks next to their name. We have to make a decision on Hassan Reddick or Matt Paradis. And Matt Paradis. All right. So again, Hassan Reddick, he's got to be the number one guy, right? Hassan Reddick's got to be the number one guy. Welcome, Dave. Welcome, Dave, to the show. Welcome, Dave. We're
What's up?
100% now. We're 100% now. So, Dave, right now, we're talking about the fallout from the lack of not signing anybody to or trading for anybody, right? So now I'm setting up the fact that hey, we got all these free agents, and essentially we are going to get nothing in return for these guys because we didn't trade one of, like, for instance, Dante Jackson, for instance, Jermaine Carter, for instance, Marquis Haynes. We didn't trade any of these guys. So now if they walk in free agency next year, we get nothing in return with the exception of potential comp pick, right? So we talked
Yeah,
about that.
yeah,
Potentially.
like the typical, right? Because that's what we do. We don't trade people by the trade deadline. But I will say this: I think the fan base probably has felt like, hey, we didn't do nothing at the trade deadline. But I think as a franchise, we've done more than we ever had than a long. I could say it. We've done more than we ever have from the standpoint of making some moves happening prior to the trade deadline, getting C.J. Henderson, getting Stephon Gilmore, getting Greg Little out of here. Like we've
Facts.
done a lot of things.
13 acquisitions, Dave, to be
Yeah.
specific.
So
We've
yeah.
made
So like
13 moves, so we're good. That's what I was just telling people. I told people that earlier. There's no need for us to panic about what's going on. We're good. We made a lot. We made a lot of moves. No need to be mad about it because we didn't. But now that being said, we do have to talk because I brought up the situation last year, Dave. You remember Curtis Samuel, right? There were
mhm.
offers on the table for Curtis Samuel. We did not take them, and he ended up walking for nothing. So again, different GM, right? He may have not had a plan for said Curtis Samuel. It may be different next or this year. But I am bringing up the fact that these guys right here are all on contract years. Now, some of these guys like Sean Chandler, I believe Trenton Scott, we have the rights to their contract. They're restricted free agents. So it's I didn't go into detail about that, but some of these guys we have priority to their contracts, all right? But other guys like Frankie Louvu, Dante Jackson, Marquis Haynes, these guys are going to end up being unrestricted free agents. And so as soon as free agency starts and we don't lock them up, they can walk, okay? They can start negotiating with other teams, and it is what it is. All right. So I am a bit surprised in the fact that we didn't get any draft capital. Like we didn't trade any of these guys for some draft capital because again, we don't have a second round pick, we don't have a third round pick, and so I'm surprised we didn't try to get some of those back. But at the same time, I can counter that by saying, yo, we drafted 11 dudes last year, right? And
Yeah.
that's not a typical draft class. So for every argument I have, I can counteract it by saying, all right, it makes sense. So I have no major complaints about not, making moves at the trade deadline. I have no problem with it. I'm cool with it. All right. But like I said earlier, like going back to this slide I have up, Hassan Reddick, Matt Paradis, these guys have voided years on their deal, right? So if we don't make a decision on them and we decide, hey, we're not going to extend them, then that voided money it escalates up and we have to eat that dead money. It becomes dead money. So Hassan Reddick, Matt Paradis, those have to be priority one decisions. We have to extend them or make a decision. We don't have to necessarily extend them. Hassan Reddick, I'm hoping so. Matt Paradis, I'm hoping so too, because people complain about him, but he's actually playing. He's having a solid year. Like if you look at it, he's actually doing fine. And finding a new Matt Paradis could prove pretty difficult. But he's been playing okay. So he's not and when it comes to the offensive line, he is the least of my concerns, Matt Paradis. He's the least of my concerns, just being quite frank. Okay. Now, Dave, let's talk about this cornerback room because, again, it's thick. Pause. Stephon Gilmore, Dante Jackson, C.J. Henderson. I mean, Keith Taylor, J.C. Horn. We can't have all those dudes back, right? So what's the plan? What's the plan with those dudes moving forward? One would have thought that one of those guys would have got flipped. A.J. Bouye, right? It was all the buzz.
We didn't even mention him when you named the 5, by the way.
Right. But he's one. I mean, he's one of the guys. Like he should be. He should have been mentioned. It wasn't by. I didn't do it on purpose. He should have been mentioned. He's good.
A GM would, but not.
No, I'm just.
mention him.
But what I'm just saying, he's good. So like, fam, like, what? I guess that's my biggest question mark right now. If I had to nitpick, my biggest question mark is what's the plan with all these cornerbacks? Because you're not keeping them all, right? What's the plan? Dante Jackson, J.C. Horn, A.J. Bouye, C.J. Henderson, Stephon Gilmore, Keith Taylor. That's 6 legit top. I mean, anybody would love to have one of those guys as their top 2 cornerbacks on their squad.
I legitimately see scenarios where we can keep them all.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it.
I can legitimately have an argument of why we need to keep them all. Because of
make the argument. Make the argument.
With the division that we play in, and the fact that we have so many wide receiver teams that are plentiful at the wide receiver position, it could make sense to keep them all. Like I know Calvin Ridley right now is going through some mental health things going on that he's trying to take care of himself, and there's no shame in that. But if he does come back to football, the Falcons got Calvin Ridley and Kyle Pitts. You talk about
who'd you say? Who's the
Cal Pitt? Yeah, I know what happened. We know.
I didn't see that. He was MIA Sunday.
He was, because the reason why is because
I get it. I get it. He got.
But no, all right. So the Bucks.
That's to your point.
The Bucks have Mike Evans. The Bucks have Chris Godwin. So like you're talking like a lot of teams that have some pretty good receiving cores. And then when you spread that out within the NFL, I mean, you're talking about a lot of teams that have a lot of good wide receiving core. Like, you got your Devontae Adams. You got Arizona with elite AJ Green. He wasn't so elite last Thursday, but elite AJ Green, D-Hop, like Rondale Moore. Like these teams got a lot of wide receiver core. So you got to have more than just one great corner. You got to have 2 or 3 is my point.
Yeah. I mean, so you're good. I mean, I feel that. But Dave, you can't play all those dudes, right? So
you can play 3. You can play 3 of them at a time.
You
maybe
can
4.
only play 3. Yeah, you can only play 3 at a time, but you have to pay some dudes. You have to pay 2 of those dudes. You have to make a decision on paying 2 of those. So,
well, I would argue. Well, so we ain't got to worry about Henderson because he's on contract. He ain't going.
Henderson is under contract, not going anywhere.
Bouye got another year.
So I just saw this, which is interesting. If you go back, what was that comment? Okay, so this is a great comment, and I would I don't like entertaining Keith because I think Keith Taylor is going to be really good. But Dominic says AJ Bouye, CJ Henderson, Keith Taylor, the only ones you entertain leaving.
But the
But those are the
problem
only three
is
guys under. Those are the
under
only guys under
contract.
contract. So like
That's it.
That's what makes it difficult, right? That's what makes
Yeah,
it.
like you can't.
If
The
these
thing is,
guys weren't under contract, then I would
I
agree. Like, but go, I'm
I
sorry,
ain't
go ahead.
considering them three because them three are in a deal. Like they're here in 2022.
Right.
Those could be your starters. Those could be your starters in your nickelback right there. Those three, legitimately next year with JC, because JC is going to be coming back. So
Correct.
JC plus those three could be our guys if we let Gilmore and Jackson walk. Now, you could see a scenario where we sign one of these. I think we're going to end up signing either Gilmore or Jackson.
I think personally, I think both of them get re-signed. I think if you look at what's going on, Stephon Gilmore, right? People talk about Stephon Gilmore, and this guy chose to come here. First of all, he's from here. He has a house here. This dude is Charlotte. He is Charlotte, right? And you talk about his wife. His wife is out here. She bought a whole box of Gilmore jerseys because she wants to see those number 9 jerseys in the stands. Dave, did you see that on Twitter?
Yeah.
She's giving away number 9. Like, fam, I think Stephon Gilmore is here for the long. He has rings, right? He has a Super Bowl ring.
He has rings.
He's got money. He's gotten paid. There's no. I mean, you can argue that he could absolutely go and get a bag somewhere else, right? But when you've accomplished as much as Stephon Gilmore has accomplished, like, what's more important to you? And I can't speak for that man. But if it was me, I'm looking about settling down. I'm looking about I've got my money. I've got my defensive player of the year. All these things, all pro. I've done about everything there is to do. I've gotten rings. I've accomplished more than a lot of dudes are gonna accomplish. Right now, I'm about making my wife happy, and his wife seems to be very happy in Charlotte. So, Stephon Gilmore, please do me a favor. Take the hometown discount for your boys, okay? Like, I don't know what it's gonna be, but please stay around because the Gilly Lock has to stay in Charlotte. We need Stephon Gilmore. So I'm on the listen. I'm whatever it takes. If he wants $15 million, I'm going to find the $15 million for Stephon Gilmore. I'm hoping he comes back for cheaper than that. But I need Stephon Gilmore.
How much did you say? Wait, how much did you say?
15. I said 15, and David, I'm standing by. If he wants it, he gets it.
If he gets it, Dante's gone.
That's another subject.
No,
I agree with you.
You ever played NFL 95 on Sega Genesis when they about to get this touchdown and they start high stepping? They be like, "I'm gone. He gone. He gone. He gone."
I'm doing whatever it takes to keep Stephon. 2-year deal. I'm not keeping you long. Just give me 2 more years. He's old. He's what, 30 years old, right? He's getting old. So I'm keep whatever it takes. He's not gonna command. I don't think he's gonna get 15. I'm just saying. I was saying that
he could. No.
He could go out in the open market and get that, absolutely. Easy. But I don't think he's going to get that from Carolina. I was saying that to be facetious. I was saying that to prove a point that I'm giving the dude whatever it takes to stay around. Give me 2 more years. Take the hometown discount. Try to get it under 10 million. Give him 8-9 million per year, and let's roll with that. Whatever it takes to get Stephon Gilmore back, I'm doing it. Now, so we check that box. If you prioritize what's on this list right here, Hassan Reddick, Stephon Gilmore are the 2 guys that I am doing whatever it takes to get back in Charlotte. Okay. Then we move on to the next tier, right? The next tier. Dante Jackson, Dave. What say ye? You've got, given our scenario, you've got 5 dudes under contract. Stephon Gilmore, J.C. Horn, C.J. Henderson, A.J. Bouye, Keith Taylor. Those are your top 5 cornerbacks. What are you doing with Dante Jackson at that point?
If Stephon Gilmore gives a hometown discount, Dante Jackson becomes a top priority, right? It'll be with Reddick and him. But that being said, Dante's going to demand a lot. Dante could demand, he could end up being like the top corner in the market. I have to check, but there could be legit.
You can make it. You can make that argument.
And if he's the top corner available in the market, that means he's gonna demand top dollar. And if he's gonna demand top dollar, I don't know if Carolina's gonna be willing to pay what needs to be done.
Got news for you, buddy. Safeties make money too. Have you looked at the dude that just got paid, Simmons? They get money too, bro. Giving them safety money ain't the easy way out, fam. But yeah, but Okay, so we're saying that AJ Bouye could get traded this out. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
I don't think that's going to happen unless
So why didn't it happen now?
the only way that happens is if we sign both Dante and Gilmore. I think if one of those guys walk,
but then you lack leverage at that point, right? People know what you're gonna do. They're just gonna wait for you to cut them.
They're not going to cut him. They don't need to cut him. Why would they need to cut him?
Because
they wouldn't need to cut him.
But I'm saying if he's out there on the market, if you sign Stephon Gilmore and you sign Dante Jackson, people will know you're gonna start dangling the dude. And those dudes, again, I just gave you 6 cornerbacks, right? I just gave you 6 cornerbacks. They're gonna know what's up. One of those dudes might just get cut. So why just wait for it? Why not just wait for it?
Why would they have to get cut? The only way they would get cut if one of the players say, "Look, man, I don't want to be here anymore because I know."
Why trade him then? Like why? If you making him available, like what's the point? That's my thing.
I think you can. I think you can keep them all and still trade one of them later. I do.
But okay, so then I go back. I beg the question then. Why didn't it happen before the trade deadline this year? Now,
because JC's hurt. That's a legitimate reason to keep him around now.
Fair enough.
Like there's no reason to like.
But,
and the thing is, I saw a report.
But it was said that he was dangled though.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? So there was a report out. Somebody asked the NFL official why weren't there hardly any moves at the trade deadline. The response was teams wanted to keep their players because of depth. Like depth is important.
It is.
Like
that's probably why Andre Dillard didn't get traded.
That is a fact. So when you start thinking about depth, like there's a lot of these teams that legitimately thinks that we can make the playoffs. Like I don't know if the Eagles think that, but I damn sure think that Matt Rule and Scott Fitterer and everybody in that Rock North Carolina still thinks they can make the playoffs right now.
100% they believe that. 100%.
So from that standpoint, you're not going to be trading your depth away because you're an injury away from making it you'll be an injury away from returning into a catastrophe. We've already lost our top corner, right? Like we already lost J.C. Horn for the season. He might be able to come back in the playoffs if we make the playoffs, but we've already lost J.C. Horn. So from that standpoint, I can understand why Bouye ain't going to get traded for peanuts. There have to be a pretty good situation for us to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like if we still had J.C. Horn and we still traded for Gilmore, C.J. Henderson, then it'll be a different discussion.
Yeah.
But right now, when you talk about depth, that's a tough sell.
Yeah, I don't think Troy Pride is gonna be here next year, my G. He's about to he's getting out of here.
He ain't making it, brother.
It's too many dudes.
He ain't making it.
Too many guys. So Dave, let's continue our discussion about the tiers, right? We talked about first of all, do you agree with my tier? Hassan Reddick, Stephon Gilmore are priority 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Those are the priorities.
So some may argue that Dante Jackson is priority over Gilmore. You can make the argument. I'm not making that argument. All pro.
There's things Gilmore can bring that talent doesn't show, regardless of his age, right? Like there's a level of experience that Gilmore has that nobody else in this team has. Like that man played for championship teams. That man has won. That man has been Defensive Player of the Year. That type of experience bleeds on the rest of the defense. Like that type of mentoring you can't really get anywhere. That's a different type of cost that you got to pay for. And that's why you keep him around. And the fact that he's from the area helps because he has that, okay, I get to stay at home. I get to stay home. My wife's here. I can raise my family here. That shit's important. And then
that's
on top
important
of that,
to people, yo. Y'all don't understand how important that is. You can see how happy that man's wife is. Like go to her Twitter. She bought a whole box of number 9 Gilmore jerseys, bro, and is giving them away. She literally in her tweet said she wants the stadium full of 9 jerseys. Why, Dave? Because guess what? Guess who's coming to town on Sunday? It's blood and guts, my G. Patriots. Okay, so she's
Matt Rule.
Here.
We didn't talk about that. Matt Rule. They asked him about that. He wouldn't touch it. He was like, "I trust Gilmore. He's a pro. He knows what he's doing." Because the thing is, it was a phenomenal question, by the way. because they made the comparison with Sam Darnold with the Jets and how they try to downplay it. And Gilmore had no interest in downplaying this game whatsoever. No interest, none. He straight up said this game means a lot to him. He wants to ball out.
J Stubbs, I disagree with this because I've seen several seasons worth of Stephon Gilmore. We know exactly who he is. I don't need to see the next 8 games. And first, I saw what he did Sunday, number 1 at 17 snaps, and I seen what he did. How many years he been in the league? 10, what, 8, 9, 10 years now?
Years.
Yeah. So I don't need to see what he needs to do.
75%. 75% Gilmore is better than most of the corners in the NFL. Like I don't think folks realize how great he was in New England. Like I think because of New England and the aura of New England and Brady and everybody, Gilmore was the best of his tier. Like he was in that top of the tier when it comes to cornerbacking. Like everybody talks about Jalen Ramsey. Jalen hopes to be like Gilmore one day. And that's a fact. Jalen just got here. Gilmore's been doing it. And he's done it for 2 teams.
Fair enough. You're right. Fair enough. He does have to stay available. You're absolutely right. Adrian J Stubbs. He says injury wise. You're right. You're right. My bad if I misconstrued what you said. All right. So my bad. We keep skipping my tiers. So tier 1, Hassan Reddick.
There's a reason. Gilmore. There's a reason. Yeah. There's a reason. There's a reason why we're skipping the tiers.
Tier 2. Tier 2. You gotta talk about Dante Jackson. And I personally, and we're talking about the same positions. You're talking about a cornerback, and personally, Frankie Louvu, dog. I think he needs to be prioritized at tier 2, bro. I think he's equally important.
I could argue him above Dante to keep it above. I could argue it. And the reason why I can is because of the fact that we have so many corners, and because of the fact that Dante has figured out in his contract year. It's a different ball game when you talk about contract year time, And I'm happy for the progress that Dante has made over this year. But the reality is it's still the contract year. So you got to take that into account as well.
Yeah, but that's true, man. But Dante's been playing well. When he's on the field, he plays fine. It's the fact that he's had these injury issues. And so I don't want to get that mixed up because people, I've said that on this channel too. I don't like paying people on contract years. But at the same time, like I'm not taking this as a great year for Dante because of the contract. I think he's always played well. It's just been availability. He's always been hurt. He stayed injured. And now those injuries, we talked about it with C-Mac. We're talking about it right now with Dante on the contract year. Those injuries don't hurt as much when you're playing for a contract. Once you get it, then it's a little different. But when you playing for that, because this you ain't seen his gout flare up all year. In the words of the great Pat Coltrane, who's live right now too. We ain't seen the gout flare up this year. We haven't seen that.
The injuries are different when it's time to get paid, ladies and gentlemen. The injuries are different when it's time to get paid.
So again, I think it's a really interesting conversation with Dante Jackson because he's gonna command. He's one of those young dudes that's in his prime that could command a lot of money. He can command a lot if he hits the open market. And I have a feeling I know Dante Jackson's personality, right? This dude, he bought that paper, bro. You seen his swag. He got a different little swag about him. Action Jackson. He might test the market and get paid, bro. And I think that the Panthers want to keep him.
We could, if the Panthers want to keep him, we could tag him.
You could tag him, but there's also a lot of other guys you might want to consider tagging too. But you could absolutely tag him. But I feel like, just going back to Dante, I feel like he is a guy that could test the open market and get a big bag. He could get a big bag elsewhere, bro. Similar to what there's
only one other guy I would consider tagging out of this list. There's only one other guy with Reddick.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hassan got to be the guy.
Those are the only two. Like, because I think we can get a deal done with Gilmore. Like, that's how confident I am that we're gonna get a deal with him. I think Gilmore is probably gonna be the easiest deal out of everybody that's available. So I think we're gonna get a deal done with Gilmore. So I don't think the tag is not gonna be necessary with him. But I think the only two guys that I will be willing to tag out of this list here is Reddick and Dante. That's it.
Yeah,
that's all.
So I mean, it's tough, bro. Like Dante gonna get a bag, bro. That and so who else would you include in that tier 2 list, Dave?
You don't want my honesty. That's that might be it, bro. That might be it. Everybody else would probably be 3. I mean, maybe Jermaine Carter, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I'm on the fence with Jermaine because he had a rough go last week, and I've seen us scheme because he's like a situational type linebacker in the way that we use him. He's not out there all the time. He doesn't play 100% of snaps. He's a
that's my thing.
situational used linebacker. So could you go out there and find another linebacker? Maybe. I mean, the dude from the Cowboys, Jalen Smith? He just got cut from the Packers. We were in on it before he chose the Packers. Could he choose to come to Carolina? I don't know, because I don't know how his contract situation looks now because he's been cut twice. So I'm not sure how that works. I haven't seen his deal, but our linebacker depth is already hurting. We don't have we don't have a bunch of rookie linebackers behind Jermaine Carter waiting to play. Like our linebacker depth is trash.
Don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, and I know how you guys feel about the offensive line because I'm with you, but don't be surprised if linebacker becomes a priority in the draft.
Yeah, like it's seriously Shaq Thompson, Jermaine Carter. I mean, that's it, bro. Like that's our linebacking core.
But then the question becomes: do you make him tier 2 because of the linebacker?
You might that's a great. You might need to. That's a fact. Man. You might need to escalate that due to the lack of our linebacker depth. Let me read them off to you, though. Let me read off to you our linebacking core. All our linebackers right now. Jermaine Carter Jr., Clay Johnson. They count Frankie Louisville as a linebacker, and he's on this list. So that don't count either. Kamal Martin, Julian Stanford, Shaq Thompson, bro. That's it. So you gotta prioritize if you're gonna count Louisville as a line. I mean, he's a hybrid. He's an edge rusher / linebacker. He's more of a Hassan Reddick style linebacker than he is a Shaq Thompson style or Jermaine Carter style linebacker. So I don't know, bro. That's tough. That's tough, man. That's tough.
If you put him at tier 2. I still think we're probably going to address that one in the draft. And I think we're going to be having these discussions about why don't we take an offensive lineman and then we're going to end up in the first round with a linebacker. I can legitimately see it. With no second or third round pick. And y'all are going to, and everybody, and y'all are going to, y'all are going to see your face. You see your face? Your face is already there. Your face is already there. I'm just letting you know. Think about it, man. You just named the linebackers.
Yeah, I know. I did. But it's priority at this point. It's priority at this point, bro.
But linebacker,
we need offensive lineman is more of a priority.
Not linebackers, not.
It's not.
We just had the discussion. About who our linebackers are.
Extend both of those guys. Then extend Jermaine Carter and Frankie Louisville. Both of those. They're not. Louisville can get a bag. Louisville has played it well enough to get a bag out there. He's a hybrid linebacker. He's playing extremely well right now in a situation.
The problem is none of these guys are taggable at this point. Like these aren't taggable players. Like Louisville, Carter, they're not taggable players because we'll be overpaying at that point.
Right. Because you have to pay the top 10 of the position.
You move Chin back to linebacker.
I mean, I like Chin where he is, bro. Like I like using Chin as a hybrid. I don't want to give him a safety or linebacker. Like we got to stop doing that. We got to stop saying let's move this dude to especially when it comes to Chin. He's that dude. Like his position is TD. That dude, okay? Don't put him a linebacker or safety. He's that dude. So TD is his position. Like wherever you put him, that's where you put him. You don't got to move him anywhere. He's that dude. All right. Get some real. You can't have too many guys that do a lot. Like you got to get some real linebackers out here. You got to get some dudes that can actually play the position. Chin is that dude. You don't lock him at a position, bro. He's just that guy.
I'm just saying, if we're gonna have the only like I said, and Hugo asked the question because what it boils down to is this: I can see them addressing the linebacker position before addressing the offensive line position. I could
No,
see him
man.
doing that.
Of course we can see it. We spent all of our damn draft capital on defensive dudes for the most part since Rule's been here.
Yo,
So
I'm starting to believe.
you can
I'm
absolutely
starting.
dream up a scenario that
I'm.
happens. Yeah.
I'm starting to believe that Phil Snow runs the draft. Yo, I'm starting to believe it. I'm starting to become a believer that Snow be walking up in there and be like, "Yo, I need a linebacker." I'll be like, "Yo, I need a corner. Give me somebody in the DT. Give me a DT. I need one of them." It was like, but Phil, we need offensive linemen. It was like, don't worry, my DT can do it. My linebacker can do it. We're gonna get you where you need to be. It's just an interesting, like, think about the 2 years of drafts that we've had with this regime and the number of defensive players that we've drafted.
It's a lot of defensive guys.
I'm telling you, bro.
It's a
like
lot of defensive guys, man. We got to figure it out. But I think Daquan Jones. I mean, he's an older guy. He had a hell of a game on Sunday too. What tier do you put him in, Dave? Let's talk about Daquan Jones. Let's talk about I think Trent Scott. We have his rights, so I'm not really too worried about that. Justin Burris is another one too. I mean, we're doing pretty well without him. I would give me Sean Chandler over Justin Burris at this point. The way Sean Chandler's been playing, he's been playing very well.
Chandler would probably be a 3. Daquan, maybe a 3. Burris. Do we even talk about Paradis?
I think Paradis got to be in either tier 2 or tier. Listen, y'all talk all that junk about Paradis, bro. Paradis has been all right. Paradis has been, so he's not the, again, when it comes to worries on the offensive line, Paradis is the least of my worries, or the second least. Moton is the least of my worries. Paradis is the second least of my worries. I'm not worried about Paradis. But the thing with Paradis, let me show y'all what I'm talking about. Let me show you what I'm talking about, because he got extended and it added some voided years to his contract. Come on. Hopefully y'all can. All right, here we go. All right, so this is Matt Paradis' contract. So as you can see, and here's another thing about Matt Paradis, right? He's old too. Like he's 32 this year, right? You got to figure out what to do with this man. All right, we don't have anything behind him. There's not. I mean, who's the depth at center, bro? Tecklenburg? I'll pass.
Yeah.
We need a real center, bro. Like, so how much longer do you plan to have a Matt Paradis around, bro? Because if you look at his deal, fam, if we cut him because do you see this gold or this orange? These are voided years in his contract. These are void years in his deal. So if we don't extend him or come to an agreement to void or to extend this contract out and we cut him, I mean, you got to eat $9 million in dead cap. So one to me thinks that he's at least going to be around for another couple years. But then you're talking about 34-year-old center.
It says that he's an unrestricted free agent in 2022. So that's weird. What do you mean?
Because of the voided years. That's what I'm trying to tell you, Dave. These years are fake. This is funny money. This is what the Saints be doing. This right here is all Saints funny money. He's an unrestricted free agent because of these voided years. And like I said, that's why he's on that list. And he has a star by his name. Because if you don't come to an extension, then we have to eat $9 million in dead money. That's my point. All this money accelerates up and becomes dead money. That's what happens. Again, you talk about the cap, you talk about funny money, and it's all fine and well if it works out. But you have to pay the piper at some point. You got to pay up. So you could potentially do a June 1 cut, spread it out, but then you're gonna be paying him for the next 2 years. You'll be paying him until he's 34 years old, and we'll be paying him until 2024. So this is what happens when you have funny money deals. Hassan Reddick's deal is the same way. So you got to you have to agree. Yeah, Hassan Reddick deals the same way. We'll pull it up.
Oh my God.
Look, this is Hassan Reddick's deal. See? But it's not as bad, all right. This is why I expect him to.
But we would take a debt. Yeah, so that's why that makes sense, because otherwise we have to take that cap hit.
His is
without him playing for us.
His is only $4 million though. Like his is not as bad as Paradis, but I fully expect this man to get an extension. I have no worries, no concern about Hassan Reddick getting an extension. I'm not concerned about that at all. That's going to happen. He's going to get paid here. Again, you remember the nepotism. Hassan is Matt Rule's guy from Temple. I have no concerns about this. But I'm just saying that this is what they've done, right? This is what happens, the consequences of the funny money, right? We talk about it. We talk about what the Saints do. This is what the Saints do. This is how the Saints create cap space. So I appreciate it because you have the cap relief, but there are consequences to it. There are consequences to it. So just saying. Yeah, franchise tag is most certainly on the table for Hassan Reddick. You can franchise tag him.
Yeah, I think it's either going to be here with Jackson.
So just keep that in mind.
Could you see a scenario that they would franchise tag Paradis?
I don't know, because honestly, it wouldn't make sense, because I don't know how that will work with the voided years.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that. We have to get a real like Jason from Over the Cap or something to answer that. I don't know how that will work.
Just a thought.
So yeah, so that's where we are. That's where we are, folks. Again, I don't mind the lack of moves here. I don't mind it at all. I just you look at some of these guys. I'm looking at the offensive line, Dave. I'm looking at the offensive line guys up here. Trent Scott, John Miller. Trent Scott played well at right guard. I think he's gonna be around number one. He has that relationship with Pat Meyer, who is the offensive line coach. They go back a little ways. So Trent Scott is gonna be here for a little bit. We have the rights to his deal. I expect him to return as a Panther next year. But one has to think John Miller, right? He's not the same dude. He's not the same guy. So
he's walking. There's no way we can sign him.
Yeah. So I don't have a problem with that either. But again, your offensive line, the depth is already weak. So that offensive line, man, we gotta address it, bro. It's no ifs, ands, or buts. First round pick has to be offensive lineman.
Not if the best linebacker in the nation.
Bullshit.
BPA, baby.
Again, we're the kings of reclamation, right? We the kings of thinking we could fix people. You got to go out there and get Jalen Smith. Why not? We tried it. We tried the first go around. Why not see if you can do it again?
You got to find out why they cut him.
That's a great point. I don't know why. I think I saw somebody up there earlier said that
he had somebody
some issues.
Who might get cut soon? Henry Ruggs.
I don't want to talk about that, man. I don't want to talk about that.
You don't? Okay.
Nah, I'm good, man. I don't even want. I don't want to talk about it. It's unfortunate.
It is sad.
I don't want to talk about it.
That one's sad.
Trade down. Y'all talking about trade down. Where do we? I mean, y'all. Where are we picking from? Like, what if we make the playoffs?
If we make the playoffs, we're definitely trading down. That's what he does. No, that's what he does. If we make the playoffs, we're absolutely trading down. There's not a doubt in my mind. If we make the playoffs, we are trading down. No doubt in my mind. We ain't gonna draft nobody to the second round. We're gonna trade our way out of the first. Not a question.
Here we go. There it was. Thanks, Panther Rule. My man said Smith showed deficiencies in tackling, getting off blocks, and running with your all three. He's right. He's right. He's right.
So why would we sign him?
Because we're the kings of record. Sam Darnold showed deficiencies of playing quarterback. Why do we sign him?
They all thought it was Gase's fault.
I'm just saying, like maybe it's their fault, maybe it's other people's fault too. I'm just saying we the kings.
But the thing is, Darnold went from Jets to us. This guy went from this will be his third team if we signed him.
Okay, and but why not? You take a shot in the dark. He can be reclaimed. I don't see why you wouldn't take a shot at Jalen Smith. I would do it. I would do it. I mean, you're not asking this dude to be a starter. You're acting like we asking dude to be a starter. It's depth. Bring him in here, see what he can do. If he can't do it, then you cut bait.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So again, how many dudes have we brought in here to reclaim them or think we can fix them? C.J. Henderson, rookie contract. Let me look at Jalen Smith's deal real quick. Oh man, he signed. Yeah, he can sign that 6-year deal too, bro.
Wait a minute. Did they?
Yeah,
but he
got cut. He got cut. So that. But I thought Green Bay picked him up off of waivers. No, he cleared waivers, didn't he? He cleared waivers. That's why it was. He cleared waivers, and that's why this deal is the way it is. He cleared waivers. So if you pick it. Like, fam, look at Green Bay. They only pay him. Like, you tell me you wouldn't pick this dude up for $220,000, fam. Come on now.
Yeah, you gotta take a flyer on that.
Yeah, why not? Why not? You taking a complete shot in the dark for a dude that could his career be over? I don't know. But I'm telling you, we the kings of thinking we could fix people, bro.
Ain't gotta cost a thing in the world. There's peanuts from a cap perspective. Oh yeah.
I don't see why not. Bring him in here, see what he's got. Who else has gotten cut? Anybody else gotten cut out there?
Jackson.
Did he got cut? Or did they I know they was talking about the trade stuff.
No, they wanted him to get traded. They didn't get him traded, they released him.
Gotcha. So, Dave, what do you think about the quarterback we brought in? I'm gonna take this list down. But what do you think about the quarterback we brought in? Love.
What's his name? Sean Love? Jordan Love? What's his name?
You can't even get it. No, Jordan Love plays for the Packers.
That's what I thought. So Sean Love,
Jason Love.
Jason Love. Are they related?
I think that's his name.
You don't even know his name.
No, Josh Love. Josh Love is his name. My bad. Josh Love. My fault. We don't need Sean Love, Josh Love. You can't even get this dude's name right, dog.
What I want to know is, what is Cam thinking right now?
Cam deleted his IG, man. What's up with that?
What is he thinking right now that Josh Love could get a deal, but Cameron Newton, former NFL MVP, cannot get a deal?
So we all talk about, okay, so this is what's going on in my head, right? We all talk about Cam and how, why don't the Panthers pick up the phone to call Cam? Like, what if we did, Dave? And he don't want to come here.
Oh, I know he doesn't want to come here.
But I'm saying people keep bringing that up. But what nobody's talking about maybe the fact that he doesn't want to come here.
Just remember, folks, when Steve Smith retired, he retired as a Raven. Let's not forget that. Not an accident. There's a reason why. It's about how it ends, bro. It's about how it ends. Now they've gotten better and the relationship has improved since then, but them wounds are still open. I'm pretty sure Cam feels a certain type of way of how it went down, of him getting released. So let's keep it a buck. So I don't think he'll come here. Pride gets in the way of everything.
Panther rule says 49ers have waived Joey Slye. Well,
have you seen that field goal attempt that he did in that game on Sunday? I would have released his ass too.
Y'all told me he was over there killing it. Wasn't he with the Texans?
He was.
This dude, he getting passed more than
Well, they had that.
I was gonna say
Brittany was
Brittany Renner, but that was a low blow.
No, see, you out here.
I know, Dave.
You worse than me.
I know. I was gonna say he getting passed more than Brittany Renner, but I take that back. My brain shouldn't have went there. But he getting passed around a lot.
No,
he getting
but
passed around a lot.
He was in Houston because their kicker was hurt. As soon as the kicker was healthy, they got him out of there.
But y'all told me he was making kicks in Houston.
He was. But not enough to keep.
Y'all told me he was good.
I ain't say that.
Man, Joey Slye, bro. Career might be over, man. Career might be over. But yeah, man.
Steve Smith, just give you a newsflash, bro. Steve Smith doesn't get to retire his jersey. The Panthers get to retire his jersey.
Yeah, Steve Smith did not retire his jersey here yet. He got put up in the Ring of Honor. That does not equate to retiring his jersey. That's not the same. There's only one retired jersey, and that's Sam Mills. That's it. There's unofficially retired jerseys, but there's no official. Only one official retired jersey, and that's the 51. So no, the Ring of Honor does not equate to retiring of a number. David Tepper has to make that decision, and I think Steve Smith has been trying to negotiate that, but it ain't quite working out.
Yeah, Tepper. They asked him during the preseason. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
but
so yeah, man. That is the trade deadline. That's it. That's it. Any more thoughts? I was gonna play the cap game and show y'all and do some off-season stuff, but I ain't got time for that because that could get real. It get real deep. And I'll do another video for that because we can go a whole bunch of different ways. But again, are we going to see the Panthers do the same old with these contracts like Dante Jackson, Marquis Haynes, Jermaine Carter? These are guys that are on rookie deals and they did not get traded. Could we have gotten something in return? It makes it a little bit more difficult because these guys are on rookie years and you have to pay them the year after.
No Deshaun Jackson. No, absolutely not. Don't need him. We don't need him. I wanted to say that. Everybody keeps asking about Deshaun Jackson. I'm like, no. Why do we want him? Let's see. You think CMC is going to play? I don't.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I don't know, and that's why I'm holding off on the preview because we were going to do the game preview. I'm trying to hold off a couple practices just to see how he's going to hold up, and I may wait till Friday to do it. Just so we can see what's going to happen because it's too many. Even with Sam Darnold, like it's too many question marks for us to jump the gun and do a preview. We don't know where Sam Darnold is. We don't know where CMC is. And I want to wait and make sure we have all the data before we do the preview this week. But yeah, even if they keep talking, Robbie Anderson ain't going nowhere, fam.
That Robbie Anderson contract is part of the reason why we might not be able to sign everybody we want to sign, by the way. So all you folks that was a fan of that contract at the time,
yeah, you can make it happen. You can make it work.
You can make it work.
Pay funny money. You can,
but you wouldn't have people. You wouldn't have people think that you should restructure Sam Darnold. Like that wouldn't even be a thought if you don't have contracts like Robbie's out there.
Yeah, and again, I've seen enough from Robbie Anderson to know he's a good receiver, bro. Like he's dropping the football, he's going through a slump, and like D Cash is saying right here, Robbie going through a slump. The man is gonna get it right. Robbie Anderson. Unfortunately, our system right now does not lend to his strengths because he's a dude that can stretch the field. Like we talk about bringing in Deshaun Jackson. Like what's the point? Deshaun Jackson is a field stretcher, and we don't throw the football deep. We can't. So what's the point in adding Deshaun Jackson when we're not going to utilize him properly? You got to think about that. Like we can talk about trading. Yeah, sometimes we got to think about what we're doing. Some of these trade things y'all talk about, they make no sense. Like I'm here for the discussion. I'm here for the debate. But let's talk through it, man. Let's talk through some of this stuff, and I'll critique you. You give me a trade, give me somebody to tell you going to trade, and I could critique it. Like we got dudes talking about like I saw Jimmy Garoppolo fan. Like, what are we doing? What are we talking about?
Yo, Jimmy
Like, what are we
Garoppolo is just
talking
like
about?
Jimmy Garoppolo. There's one thing that Jimmy Garoppolo, Sam Darnold, and Teddy Bridgewater all have in common. None of them are franchise quarterbacks. None of them. None of them. And truth be told, the Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance situation that's going on in San Francisco right now, that might get some folks fired. Fired, I tell you. Fired.
And then, so this is a great question right here. If PJ plays really good this week, Robbie has a breakout game, do you think he'll get the nod the rest of the season? The answer to that is no. Sam Darnold's the guy. However, PJ and I this is the same energy I kept last year because I want to know where all the PJ Walker truthers from last year, because a lot of y'all done got missing and y'all ain't saying nothing. A lot of y'all wanted PJ Walker last year. Yeah, we see you. We see y'all. We see you hide in the corner. Look at dude hide in the corner. There. Look at hide in the corner. We see you, bro.
Yeah, they out here hiding all
same
these
energy,
truthers.
man. The PJ Walker truthers were heavy last year. The truth of the matter is, we told you this last year. PJ Walker ain't the answer. At best, he's a back. At best, he's a number 2. That's all he ever gonna be. But I'll say this: you may see PJ Walker stretch the field more because he has the elusiveness. He's gonna be able to move the pocket and use his legs to extend the time he has to throw the football. So you may see some deep passes be completed. However, you may also see some red zone interceptions, 2 of which we saw last year, and everybody banded their eyes.
Everybody forgot about those.
Everybody
he almost threw one.
He almost did it again. He almost like took us completely out of the game last week, and everybody still wants this dude. Like, what are y'all talking about? PJ ain't it, fam.
Enough about PJ.
Over PJ Walker. Period.
Yeah. Enough about PJ. Take that message down. Enough about PJ.
Right, my bad.
I want to talk about some other things that happened in the NFL this weekend. Dog, what do you think about this whole Matt White situation? My man White from the Jets.
I don't.
Have you been paying attention?
Yeah, I saw he had 400 yards, but I don't really give a
shit. Mike White, a guy who was drafted a few years ago by another team in the 5th round, never started an NFL game, walked up in there, and the Jets offense haven't looked that good in a long time. There's only one other debut quarterback that's had more passing yards than him in his debut. You know who that was?
Who was that day?
Cam Newton. The man was balling. So now he's got a Thursday night game, and the coach pretty much said, yo, anything's possible. He's saying like, yo, if Mike White keeps balling like this, we ain't gonna see Zach no more.
I'm not jumping out again because I agree with everybody saying in the chat, yo, once you get film on the dude, it's a wrap. He's gonna get exposed quicker than I ain't have nothing. Damn,
so what about Zach?
I ain't have nothing.
So what about Zach Wilson? I mean,
what about him?
I mean, he ain't really the offense has never looked that well in a game with Zach.
Dave, he came off the bench with no film. Nobody knew who this cat is. Nobody knew what to expect. You couldn't plan for it. So, yeah, he had a good game. He ain't going to be able to do it again.
Well, we'll find out Thursday now, won't we?
No, we will, because he ain't going to be able to do it again. I'm telling you.
Because you know what's funny? I'm leaning towards picking the Colts in my suicide pool, but I'm very afraid because a lot of folks picked the Bengals on Sunday, and, boy, there was 80 people in the pool, and 50 got sent home that day. So I'm debating on picking. I had the plan to pick the Colts, and then I saw this man throw for 400 yards, so I'm kind of hesitant. And it's a Thursday night game, which scares me even more. And Wentz is out here throwing interceptions randomly, so he's good to blow a game. So yeah, man. I got about 7 more minutes before I got to bounce. But y'all got anything else y'all want to talk about? I think I'm gonna keep this joint on and go through the fantasy stuff.
Okay.
When you out of here, it makes my life a little bit easier.
All right, that's fair.
And then maybe I'll talk about rugs then. Because
okay, so let me answer that. We'll take some questions. Y'all like to chat up with some questions. I'm gonna sit for about 7 more minutes, take some questions. How are y'all? How ready are y'all to see Chuba break out for 70-yard touchdown? I'm ready to see it. That's what he did in college. All he was quick
I'll tell
to break one out in college.
I'll tell you what, we better see it before McCaffrey comes back, because then we ain't gonna see it.
That's true. That's a very, very true statement. Very true statement. Very true statement. But yeah, for PJ, man, hey, so I see some more talk about PJ. But yeah, I think PJ gonna be fine this week. I think PJ, if he got to start, I'm cool. I'm cool with PJ. But again, I don't want him out there. His decision making is not. He's too erratic for me, bro. And that worked for some people. Like some people, like he's no Mahomes, and even you can say Mahomes ain't having that great of a year this year, but he's also an MVP, and that's not what PJ Walker is. But the PJ Walker is too erratic for me, bro. Like I hold my breath anytime this dude scrambles because he could either lose you 18 yards or he could sling the ball 50 yards down the field and complete a deep pass. My heart can't take PJ Walker behind center, bro. I mean, when I watch PJ Walker play, like it's fam, you'll see it because I don't think I'm gonna go to the game. I think I'm gonna stay home because I got some other things I got to do. And you gonna see my reaction to the game, like, fam, what is this cat doing? Like, it's gonna work. The risk reward. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But I think he's gonna take us out a lot of plays because he's so erratic. So I just that's PJ Walker. I mean, it works sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't. So I'll take the. We'll see, man. And I think it's gonna be interesting because I don't know that Bill's gonna have something to prepare for, right? Like I think that's what makes it interesting. Is Bill gonna have something to prepare for when it comes to PJ Walker if he gets a start? Just like your boy Mike White or whatever his name is, it could be a similar situation. Although he does have one game to go back to last year with the Giants, so he
the thing is, man, I know
the Lions. My bad.
Yeah, the thing is, when you talk about players that get their opportunity and balls out of their mind, my thing has always been this. Like, I think the Mike White situation, everybody always go with the film, but sometimes, man, he might just have it and he just never had the opportunity. You know? And that could be that type of situation because he could have it and just never had the shot. I mean, Tom Brady, we didn't get if Drew Bledsoe didn't get knocked out, we wouldn't have Thomas. We'll be waiting a while for Thomas. So we got to see. Right. Same thing with Jake Delhomme. If Rodney Pete wasn't out here,
that's true,
being down 20, we wouldn't have never gotten Jake. We wouldn't have gotten that first Super Bowl run. Like, it's all about perspective. It's all about perspective, man. Sometimes opportunity is all you need.
That is true. It's valid. So I can't even hate that. I can't even hate that. That's right. He's right. He's right.
You can't. So the thing is, but it would just be wild that it would be like the most Jets things to do. You randomly fall into a quarterback because your number 2 overall pick gets hurt, and then the man couldn't start. Now all of a sudden, we could be describing Josh Love. We could be. Shit, we ain't got a franchise quarterback now. We ain't got a franchise quarterback now.
Never know, man. We just
no
taking
PJ
shots in the dark.
Yeah,
we just keep taking shots in the dark, man. Hopefully one of them pan out. That's how we evaluate quarterbacks. Just take a shot in the dark. And see what it is. But they want to talk about the OBJ situation, Dave.
Oh God.
OBJ.
They didn't trade his ass, so Jesus. Man.
I mean, he kind of didn't he kind of set himself up for that when he went there? Like, cause did they trade for him or did he choose to go there? I can't remember.
I believe they traded for him.
I think they did too.
Now the thing about the OBJ situation is they're literally not looking on his side. And then when they did look at his side, he made a business decision. I don't know if you heard about that. He made a business decision. He made the decision to not go across the middle. He made the decision that he wasn't he ain't about that life. Like what Robbie did. You know what I'm saying? Robbie did not make a business decision.
Did the opposite? Yeah.
He did not make a business decision. And he almost got his block knocked off.
He got his muffin cap peeled back, dog.
Oh my God!
Not Bach Rocks.
OBJ is on his Ricky Waters right now. For who? For what? Like OBJ is just on it right now, man. So it'll be interesting. Like I thought they were going to try to trade him before the deadline, but I think his contract ain't going to allow anybody to take it.
I think I just saw the Saints were looking at getting him. Oh, before the trade deadline, obviously, the Saints were looking into getting him.
The Saints trying to get everybody. Because man,
Saints be doing, they be making it happen, bro.
Michael Thomas.
That's crazy. Is he gonna miss the whole season?
Bro, I hope not. He's still on my fantasy team. I'm trying to hold on for dear life, but this week has been rough on me in some of my leagues. So I don't know. Like I thought, like they're saying he's still a couple more weeks out, which is kind of wild. Like the man was on the pup.
Crazy.
But let's see here. Yeah, that was funny. His pops.
Yeah, I
OBJ's
saw that.
pops.
I didn't click the video, but I saw that he had a video.
I saw the article on it. I'm like, oh no. And the thing is, I'm thinking when I saw that, I'm like, oh, they gotta trade him before 4:00, right? They didn't trade him, so it's gonna be interesting to see.
Yeah, slant boy, that's funny. But all right, hey, I'm getting ready to get up out of here, man. I gotta pick up my daughter. Dave gonna hold it down.
Yeah,
Dave, you got control, right?
Yeah, I should be able to. Yeah, I can end it. So
you can keep it going.
No, okay. Well, I want to keep it going. I want to go and make it.
I misunderstood what you said.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start this fantasy Q&A. I mean the Q&A for the waiver wire. Talk about the waiver wire real quick. Answer some fantasy questions, and go from there.
All right, I'm out, folks, man. Hey, again, don't be disappointed about the trade deadline, man. It is what it is. 13 transactions. We can question the motive once free agency comes around and some of these dudes don't get extended. Then we can question things. But let's let the plan play out, and I think we'll be good. We'll be good. But peace out, man. Y'all enjoy Dave. I'm out. I'll holler at y'all whenever we do the Patriots preview. Don't know when it's going to happen. Probably Friday. Still looking for a Patriots YouTuber. So if y'all know any Patriots YouTubers, tell them to hit us up or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Tell them to hit us up. All right. I'm out. Peace out, y'all.
All right, man. You know what time it is right now, guys. I know some of you guys might be new to it because I don't normally have this many people. But what it boils down to is that around 8 o'clock every Tuesday, I go over waiver wires for fantasy football. I'll take questions about what you should do with your lineups, whether or not you want to make trades or transactions and things of that sort. It just makes the most sense to go this route this week since we had to do the trade fallout show. So let's get into it. There's been a lot of news that's been happening over the past couple of days. A lot of things that's going to factor in who you should think about picking up. We'll start off with Calvin Ridley. Unfortunately, Calvin Ridley's been going through some personal things, man. Like mental health is a serious matter. And he announced that he's going to be walking away from football. They don't know when he's going to be coming back. But from the standpoint of his situation, I hope he gets the proper help that he needs. And I hope he figures it out. And I applaud him for knowing that he needs to go do what he needs to do and get himself situated. Because I think that's something that's a lost art from that standpoint. The bottom line is this. When you start thinking about what to do with the Atlanta Falcons wide receiver situation, one guy you can definitely consider is Tajay Sharp. There's another kid. I can't say his last name. It begins with an O, who's probably going to get more work from Atlanta. But Tajay had a decent chunk of targets in the game against us on Sunday. So he at least seems like he's a viable option. Russell Gage, if he's available, he's an option. He was shut down against us, but either way, I think he's a good option. But Russell Gage is not available in that many leagues. But Tajay Sharp definitely is. So those are options from that standpoint. With regards to the news of Henry Ruggs, and I tell you what, man, that is such a sad situation for all parties involved. I mean, for Ruggs, his career might be over, and he might have to go to jail. Looks like it's a 2-year minimum where that happened. And then for the families of the DUI crash, it's so sad to say the least. So from that standpoint, for the Raiders standpoint, I mean, a lot of the guys is already gone, right? So Waller's targets definitely is going to go up. I think Brian Edwards, he's available in a couple leagues. You should try to look into getting him. Hunter Renfrow, if he's available, you should try to think about getting him. I think Kenyon Drake becomes interesting again if they want to go that route. But yeah, Ruggs is definitely going to be out of here. So another thing too, I do take questions. So let's get to some questions. You like Michael Carter Jr.? Yeah, I was a big fan of Michael Carter Jr. from the Jets coming into the draft. I thought he was going to probably be one of the better rookie running backs coming out of the draft. So yeah, I like Michael Carter a lot, man. And he's getting the work. He put in the work. I think he had over 170 total yards. So yeah, Michael Carter is problematic. If you could try to trade for him, you should try to go for him if you can, because he's getting all the work in New York. Yeah, I heard about this, but we'll see. I don't know. We shall take a look at the PNP League. We will get there. But let's talk about other positions, man. All right, so you guys also, let's talk about quarterback. You also heard about Jameis, famous Jameis, man, tore his ACL, out for the season. It's looking like Taysom Hill's about to return from a concussion. So that's the quarterback to have. So if you need another quarterback, Taysom Hill becomes interesting. Because Taysom Hill runs the ball a lot, that could factor in like some leagues where you get points per carry from that standpoint. So that's a viable option if you need somebody. Because the thing is, Sean Payton knows how to make it work with any quarterback. Like, Trevor Siemian is still considered he was the third string quarterback, and he's still going to be considered the third string quarterback. Taysom Hill is going to probably be starting. So if he clears the concussion protocol, Taysom Hill is going to be it. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to talk about the situation in Tennessee in a minute. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we all heard about Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry has a foot injury that's going to take him out 6 to 10 weeks, pretty much ending his season. The team said indefinitely, but based on the surgery that he had, they're saying 6 to 10 weeks for Derrick Henry, which is a devastating blow. He was like by far the top running back in fantasy by miles. So the options that you have right now, the Titans just signed Adrian Peterson, and Jeremy McNichols is an option for you as well. Those are the two guys you should consider. I'm not sure. It doesn't appear that the Titans are confident that Jeremy McNichols can take the load, which is why they went after Adrian Peterson. So I think Adrian Peterson is going to be the guy that's going to take the bulk of the work once he gets activated from the practice squad. And then Jeremy McNichols is going to be the passing down guy. Now, that being said, I think for this upcoming week, I think I would rather have Nichols, but long term, I'm thinking AP is going to be the guy. No, I don't trust the Eagles running backs. I never was a fan of them prior to the season. Kenneth Gainwell burned me this week, but if you're going to the order for me would be Boston Scott, Jordan Howard. Those are the two guys you want. Gainwell's out of here. I think Gainwell's droppable at this point. And then whenever Miles Sanders come back, it becomes a pain. I don't care about that. Is it time to drop Allen Robinson? No, even though, man, it's tough, but I know it's time to not start him anymore. Do you think A.J. Brown is going to continue? No, well, the thing is, but with the Derrick Henry injury, I have a feeling that the Titans are going to change up this offense a bit. Like, I think Ryan Tannehill is going to get more opportunities. I've been trying to trade for Tannehill in some leagues because of the injury. I think A.J. Brown is going to keep balling, and I don't think that's going to change with Julio Jones. I think Julio Jones is about to get an uptick upon his return. I think he's still hurt, if I remember correctly. So I think the wide receivers for the Titans are going to get a little bit of an uptick due to the Derrick Henry injury. I don't think they're going to run it at the same frequency, even with Adrian Peterson and Jeremy McNichols. I think Ryan Tannehill is going to be more of a running quarterback, even though he always has been. But I think they're going to utilize that more now. That's why I really want to. I'm like hell bent on trying to trade for Ryan Tannehill in the leagues that I need a quarterback upgrade, because I think his value won't cost you as much to go get Ryan Tannehill. James Robinson, but we got to check the severity of his injury. And if James Robinson is not available, for those who don't know, he got hurt during the game on Sunday. If James Robinson from Jacksonville is not available, you need to go get Carlos Hyde. Carlos Hyde is still available in a lot of leagues. So Carlos Hyde is the option there. Let's see here. No, don't pick up Shi Smith. I mean, there's no shame in that since Devontae Parker's back, and Devontae's getting the target share right now, so it's not a bad thing. And it looks like he's got his connection with Tua, so you can't be mad at it. It looks like Tua now because Deshaun Watson's not getting traded, that means Tua's going to be the quarterback for the remainder of the year. So, is CEH in danger of losing his job due to the trade of Melvin Gordon? It was Melvin Ingram that got traded, not Melvin Gordon. Melvin Ingram got traded. Melvin Ingram got traded not Melvin Gordon. Now you're going to have me double checking. I thought it was Ingram. Yeah. Melvin Ingram, not Melvin Gordon. Melvin Ingram got traded, not Melvin Gordon. I'll answer a couple, but this show focuses on fantasy right now. But I'll answer a couple Panthers questions. Appreciate it, man. But with regards to CH using this job, with Daryl Williams is playing fine, but the other kid, man, what was his name? The other running back, he burned me because I didn't have the other one. Derek, Chiefs running backs, but I can't remember his name. His name escapes me. Derek Gore ruined me because Derek Gore got a lot. Derek Gore was out here vulturing touchdowns from Daryl Williams. Y'all got to stop doing this. Y'all really got to stop doing this. But he did mess up. I mean, that story is so sad. And the big thing for me is that typically, man, the NFL's got a car service for folks who are intoxicated so they can get a ride home. Would you sell high on Kamara since Winston is gone? Absolutely not. Matter of fact, I would buy low because people might be panicking over it. Congrats. I heard it's going to start getting easier. Easily. Ruggs is gone, man. You can go in and drop him now. And I'm from a fantasy perspective, I'm somewhat kind of angry about it. Well, not angry. I'm irritated by it because it just seems like a DUI is so avoidable. It's like one of the more avoidable things you can do. And it just bothers me a lot when people do that because it's super avoidable, especially now. There's so many other ways to do it. So. Thanks, Jackson. Should the Panthers pay Dante or Stephon? I think they should pay Gilmore. We talked about it. We talked about it during the trade deadline fallout. And should I start Herbert or Lamar this week? You start Lamar every week. You should trade Herbert and start Lamar. Yeah, you drop him now. I would trade CMC if you think you can get a haul. I wouldn't trade him if you don't think you're going to get the good value for him. Because I don't have confirmation or not, but I don't think he's going to play this week against New England. If you can, like I have Kelsey in a keeper league. I'm monitoring how he plays for the remainder of the season. I think it's not because he's old. I think it's more because teams have figured out how to defend the Chiefs, and they haven't adjusted. And Mahomes and the offense hasn't adjusted yet. So I'm going to monitor how Kelsey plays because I've been keeping him all this time, but I'm considering letting him go back out in a while so I can get a first round pick because that's what it would be. I would get a first round pick back if I decide to. Same thing with DeAndre Hopkins. I might rebuild my whole team from scratch next year. Well, the thing is, it could be over because it's 2 to 20 years. So depending on how far they go, his career might be done. And then on top of that, when he gets out, he's going to have to take a penalty for the NFL too. So it's not like a situation where he can just come back and play after he does his time. But it's got to go through the court cases. I mean, but it does not look good right now, I will say. But yeah, man, let me see if there's any other players. Let me see. I think I hit everybody I wanted to hit. Oh, I talked about Jamal Agnew last week. If he's still available in your league, you should definitely go get him if you need wide receiver help. Like particularly if you did have Calvin Ridley or if you did have Henry Ruggs. Jamal Agnew is an option that you should definitely consider. If you need tight end help, I mean, Tyler Conklin is like the only guy that's really worth picking up at this point. It looks like Ricky Seals-Jones is hurt. He might not play this week. There's a possibility that Fant might not be available this week. Actually, Fant just got the Rona. He's on the COVID reserve list. So you're going to have to, if you have Fant, you need to go find a tight end. But like I said, Tyler Conklin from Minnesota is an option for him. So, and quarterback-wise, like I mentioned, Taysom Hill, Tua, Fields, the usual suspects. Let me see. Would you trade Keenan Allen for Damian Harris and Bourne? I don't want any. Oh, Damian Harris. Excuse me. I'm getting it confused with Damian Williams. Yeah, for your sake, you need to. Yeah, I mean, Damian Harris isn't a replaceable person for Henry, but there's nobody that's going to be replaceable for Henry. So yeah, you kind of need to. Hopefully, you got more wide receivers, but you're gonna have to. For Henry owners, you're gonna have. You might get. You're desperate at this point, so you might have to. You might not get what you want back for some of these trades because the people that are trying to trade with you know that you're desperate at this point. Because Derrick Henry was such an animal. Derrick Henry was such a great running back from that standpoint, and he was a fantasy monster. So, oh yeah, that guy. But he's been out in a lot of leagues too. Pat Firmer, and I talked about him last week. He's been pretty much gone. Montgomery's getting ready to come back in a couple weeks. Depends on how much you got to pay to get him. I mean, if you're a Derrick Henry owner, you're just gonna have to be. You might have to be in a streaming running back type of mode until you can get somebody that's more concrete. So yeah. I mean, Nick Chubb is Nick Chubb, man. Like, he should be a top 10 to 15 guy every week. I don't think nobody's picking him up. I really don't, Hugo. I don't think anybody's picking him up, bro. I don't. I do not. I don't think anybody's picking him up. I think, like, the Cam situation is kind of wild because I saw on Twitter that he got rid of his IG account, and I think that's interesting because I know he's about his branding, but it's tough. For wide receivers, I got DJ Renfro, Hollywood, AJ Green. Oof, that's tough. Renfro should get a tick up with the Ruggs situation. DJ Moore is going to get his target share. Hollywood Brown is hit or miss. AJ Green is hit or miss. I think I like Mooney more, and Mooney might be available in a lot of leagues. I don't trust Baker Mayfield, man. I really don't. I don't disagree with you. I just don't think he's going to get it. Oh, yeah, I'm going to do the PNP League stand. I just want to get through folks' questions to make sure I hit all the players I wanted to hit. I think that's all I had from that standpoint. But let me double check. That's all I want to talk about. Because I don't think there's too many. Like, I think the Falcons situation with wide receiver and now the Raiders situation and then the Derrick Henry situation, those were the three big ones that I definitely wanted to have discussions about from that standpoint. So, but it's been kind of crazy how everything's been going on with the running back situation. It seems like every week there's always something. There was a lot of injuries. So another guy you should consider picking up too, but he might already be available. He probably ain't available in too many leagues is Mark Ingram. But that's all. You're here to gloat. I know you're here to gloat. So let me pull it up for you since you want to gloat so much. Give me 1 second. I should be gloating too, man. I mean, if you want to keep it a buck. Matter of fact, I have every reason to gloat. I just looked at the standings. Let me go ahead and pull it up for the people. I should be the one gloating if you want to keep it a buck. This is like the most unlikely squad to be number one. Look at that. Shout out to Ice Cube. His album turned 30. Death Certificate turned 30 last week. Look at that. 6-2, baby. The most unlikely 6-2 on earth. If y'all saw my squad, you wouldn't believe it was 6-2. We couldn't believe that we're 6-2. I think I prefer Van Jefferson, especially with Deshaun Jackson being gone. Oh yeah, you're good. You got Debo and DJ. You're fine. Because you only have to start 2, that's optimal. Noli might be working, man. Don't do that. Look, man, let me show you my squad, man. When you look at my team, you'll be like, how is that first place? I'm out here playing Damian Williams. Let me go ahead and take care of this. Michael Pittman. Put him right here. I don't know why I can't move my guys to IR. That's weird. Move him to IR. Nope. But I think Tanya's out for the season, so I can just drop him. But yeah, my squad might be built to last now. Because with AJ Brown, my squad might be built to last. I'm not a fan of him, man. I think I would drop him at this point. My squad, all I need is an RB2, and I'll be ready for prime time. That's my only dilemma. I'm out here playing Jamal Williams and Damian Williams at running back too. And soon it might be Phillip Lindsay at this rate. But yeah, hopefully I'm gonna try to figure that out in waivers. That's gonna be the job of the day today. But now if the odds are slim, I'm gonna get somebody with the 12th waiver wire order. But that's what happens when you're at the top of the world. Let's see, man. Who do I play next week? Eddie, you going down, bro. It's time. It's time, man. It's time. Straight out the dungeons a wrap. It's time, man. It's time. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, Pittman was on my bench last week, but he won't be on my bench anymore. I can promise you that. But then again, I mean, I could trade him. I should trade him. I need to trade somebody to get me a running back. I got to fix my running back situation so I can get this league closed out. Stafford's fine. Aaron Jones, you keep in. You got to keep Zach Moss in. Hopkins, Debo, Claypool. And then you start Ingram. Look, man, I harped this during my fantasy shows in the past. The goal is to have an advantage at some positions. If you can get an advantage at multiple positions, that's optimal. And then they can get you there. Sometimes it might break you through to win it too, but at least it'll get you into the playoffs. And then when the playoffs, anything can happen. So you just gotta have advantages at every position. And right now, Josh Allen is an advantage. Josh Allen is the number one quarterback in fantasy. Well, he's number 2. He's the number 2 quarterback in fantasy, but that's pretty much a significant advantage over most of these quarterbacks. I think, if I had to guess, I think that what's his face is number 1. Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson is number 1. If I had to guess. No, Tom Brady's number one. Excuse me. Tom Brady's number one. Josh Allen's number two. And yeah, so yep. Yeah, Brady's number one, man. But Josh Allen has the better fantasy points per game than Brady. Because Allen's been on bye. Allen's played one less game than Brady. But he's on bye this week. So that'll like all Josh Allen has to do is get like 15 points and he will be ahead of Brady. So with the same amount of games. So just Tom Brady's on bye this week. Yo, man, I was saying when I was doing my fantasy focuses during the off season, I said Josh Allen is QB1 in fantasy. And folks didn't agree. And I said, nope, he's number one. He is QB1. Most folks was taking Mahomes first. And I said, nope, I'm taking Josh. And right now, Mr. Mahomes, I mean, he's 7. He's 7. He's 7th. So, can't be mad at 7th. When you talk fantasy points per game, can't be mad at 7. But most folks took Mahomes in like the second, third, fourth round. I don't think you drop Gibson. I think you're going to have to hold that one and wait this one out. But I tell you what, McKissick is making it very difficult because he's been playing pretty well. So, well, you need to talk about running back because replacing Derrick Henry is hard. Replacing CMC is hard too. But at least it looks like CMC might be coming back. But replacing Derrick Henry is hard. I'm starting to get fake mail. All right, let me see here. Anything else I want to talk about this week? I don't think so. I think I've covered everything. I've been up here for about 30 minutes talking about fantasy. Yeah, you're going to have to hold Gibson, man. I know it's tough because now it's with the bye weeks, it's making tougher and tougher to keep these underachievers on the rosters. I can relate. I got one team where I dropped 4 people this morning on one of my teams. And the crazy thing is I might have to go back and pick one of them back up because one of the guys I dropped was a wide receiver from the Raiders. And that was before the Ruggs news. And I'm like, oh, God, now I got to go back and go get him. And I don't think I'm going to be able to because of the waivers. So we'll see what happens. It'll be interesting at least. But yeah, I got 4 open roster spots right now. And I'm still trying to trade for people. So I got like 6 pending moves of who to add. And I'm still trying to pick my quarterback situation. Oh, there's another quarterback you guys should definitely consider. And that's Tyrod Taylor. He should be back. I'm thinking they're saying he might be back next week. Panthers didn't make no moves during the trade deadline. We're focusing on fantasy right now, but Panthers didn't make no moves during the trade deadline. Over Kelsey. I'm not over Kelsey. I'm patient with him. He's earned my patience. It ain't just Kelsey. The Chiefs as a whole offensively has been struggling. Yeah, I know, man. Like me and Rashad did the whole trade deadline fallout, but now I'm gonna finish up my fantasy show, and I'm gonna hop. I'm getting ready to hop in Pat's in a minute. You know, I know he's on right now too, but he might be gone by the time I'm done. So, but yeah, man. Like the news has been kind of crazy. The priorities are interesting. Like some of the folks that are out, it's hard to replace. Like you're not going to find a replacement for Calvin Ridley on the waiver wire. You're not going to find a replacement for Derrick Henry on the waiver wire. So that's what's up, man. The best record I got right now is 6-2. I'm 6-2 in a couple leagues. I'm 4-4 in one. I'm 3-5 in another. But fun times. Fun times. But all right, man, I'm about to close this thing out. This was fun. I just wanted to try to, since I was already here, I said, let me go ahead and get through this, go through the fantasy waiver wire too. I should probably cut the video in half and post this portion separately, but I might do that. But by the time it happens, it'll probably be too late, but I still might do it. But all right, man, appreciate you guys sticking around. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. You can follow us on Twitter at Panther Nation PC. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, everything else. And then you can follow me individually at ChampD1012, and I'll take some of your fantasy questions there. Make sure you become a Patreon. We have a fantasy football chat in there, and I answer questions all around the clock for lineups and strategies of how to handle certain things when it comes to dynasty, individual defensive players, even daily fantasy occasionally. And that's all I got, guys. You guys have a lovely evening. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.